Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this disc review, I'm going to look at the mantras in all the plastics. All right, whether you're new to Thought Space Athletics or you've been around for a while, the mantra is a very important disc to the history of Thought Space Athletics. Back in 2019, this was the first disc that Thought Space ever produced. Yes, Thought Space was an apparel company prior to that, but they got into the disc game with the mantra in 2019. So we're going to take a look at all the different plastics of the mantra, and I'm going to start with the least stable version all the way to the most stable version. So here we go. The numbers on the mantra are 96, -21, but hands down the Ethos plastic is the least stable. Doesn't take much to get this thing to turn over. Put a little bit of power on, it's going to turn and not really come back at all. That makes this a great disc for rollers, also a great disc for powered down, dead straight shots. If you have a slow arm speed, this is going to be a great disc for you to get to turn over just a little bit and then fight out at the end. But for arm speeds like mine and even faster, you're going to have no problem turning this thing over. It could be a great standstill disc, great roller disc. Next up is the brand new Nebula Aura mantra. Now this run at first seemed a little bit too flippy for me and kind of unusable, but once I got the hang of it, this disc is a great woods disc, especially for arm speeds like mine. Once I got used to this disc, I realized all you have to do is put a little bit of a hyzer on it, start it on the left hand side of any tight fairway, and trust this thing to flip up, give you a little bit of a turnover, and then it'll pretty much finish dead flat. The last tournament I played was in a tight wooded course, and I basically threw this disc on just about every single hole. This is a great woods disc for you guys. So check out the new Nebula Aura mantra. These things are still available now. You guys can pick them up on the website. All right, next up in stability is the Ethereal mantra. Now this one still gives you some good turnover, just like the Nebula Aura, but it's got a little bit more grit to it. It fights out just a little bit more. This is a great disc that you guys can throw flat and it'll turn over on you and give you a little bit of fight out at the end. Unlike the Nebula Aura where you got to put it on a little bit of a hyzer, this one you can release more flat to get to do the same thing. Now, just like all the mantras, if you guys put these on anhyzers, they're going to flip over and they're going to pretty much hold that the whole way out. Next up in stability is the Nebula Ethereal mantra. Now, there are no new runs of the Nebula Ethereal mantra, so with a little help from my friend Nintendo and Ronnie, I was able to test these things out. Okay, now no offense Nintendo, yours was a little bit more beat in than Ronnie's, so I pretty much used Ronnie's. This disc basically has it all. This is probably my favorite mantra to try out. This one you can throw flat, gives you a slight S-turn. It also has got a nice stability on it where it'll pretty much hold dead straight lines too and kind of drop at the end. Man, I wish I could get my hands on some Nebula Ethereal mantras. These things bomb. Had the great stability of a mantra that you guys are really looking for. Who knows, maybe we'll have a Nebula Ethereal mantra in the future. If so, I'm going to make sure I stock up on these. All right, next in stability is the Aura mantra. Now, I did a review on the mantras not too long ago, and the Aura mantra was definitely the most stable in that review, and I still stick behind that. This Aura mantra really holds the stability. This is another good disc for the woods. You can trust it to flip up, but this mantra, unlike the Nebula Aura mantra, is definitely going to give you some finish at the end of it. It works good on anhysers in a field, and it's got enough stability that it will fight out of that anhyser. But like all the other mantras, if you put it on severe enough angle, this will hold it pretty much the whole way out. If you guys have a mantra and you're looking for a little bit more stable version of a mantra, check out the Aura mantra. Last but not least, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, but the most stable version of the mantra is definitely the Glow mantra. It's so stable that it almost feels like it's a different disc, although it does still have some of that goodness that we like from a mantra. Off the get-go, once you put this thing on an anhyser, it does fight out of it a lot quicker than all the other mantras. Also, doing hyzer flips with this disc, it really doesn't want a hyzer flip like another mantra too. So this really is a different beast altogether, but it is a mantra. This Glow mantra is going to be a good disc that we can pair up with some of the other mantras that could be used maybe in a headwind or on days where it's a little bit windy, but you still want to throw a mantra. This Glow mantra is pretty awesome if you can get your hands on one. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Whether it's the new Nebula Aura mantra that came out that you guys can get your hands on, or a little bit more stable version like the Aura mantra, you guys can find some discs here that'll do some different things that you guys can keep in your bag, and I think you guys can trust this one. The mantra is the favorite of a lot of TSA fans, and I can see why. All right, if you guys like the rundown I did of all the mantras and all the different plastics, make sure you check out my other ones I've done of the Praxis and the Animus, and stay tuned because I'm going to do the Votum and the Pathfinder pretty soon too. All right, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace.